You on?
My name is Wesley Foreman, and I am here to talk about HIV testing. First, I want to introduce my audience: Willie Foreman, my dad, Alita Foreman, my mother, and my brother Will Foreman. All right, let's get started, guys. All right. According to Van Handel and Maluda, authors of the Journal of Effectiveness of the U.S. National HIV Testing Day campaigns in promoting HIV testing, evidence from CDC-funded HIV testing sites 2010 said HIV continues to be a major public health problem in the United States. In 2009, the Center of Disease Control, better known as CDC, estimated that 1.2 million people were living with HIV in the U.S. However, 18% were unaware that they were infected, and 32% of people diagnosed with HIV were also diagnosed with AIDS in a 12-month span, which indicates they were infected longer than when they went to the doctor. Which, after reviewing these findings, it only indicates that importance of HIV testing and other safe sex practices are well needed to make us safe. I come from a small town in Villarica, Georgia. Go to Villarica High School, and there was this girl that went to school with me that she had sex with a guy that had HIV. I don't know if she knew at the time, but she had unprotected sex with the man, and she contracted HIV from him. When the guy went to jail, obviously, but the girl, now she's stuck with it with her whole life. So now our school is more aware about AIDS and HIV because this was the first in my generation to ever have something to do with HIV, period. Now I'd like to let you guys know what I'm here to talk to you about. I would like to talk to you about HIV and HIV testing to inform you guys on what HIV is and what HIV testing is really about. I'd also like to give you the positives and negatives of HIV testing, and I would like to give you my solutions of what I think would better help us as a whole. First, I'd like to inform you, the CDC states that HIV stands for Human Immune Deficiency Virus. It is the virus that can lead to acquired immune deficiency syndrome, or AIDS. Unlike some other viruses, the human body cannot get rid of AIDS. That means that for the rest of your life, you will have AIDS. You will have HIV for the rest of your life also. You can live with AIDS and HIV, but you will have to take medicine only regularly. Okay. Now I'd like to show y'all a statistic I found. Just 25% of people with HIV are successfully keeping their virus under control through treatment. 75% are not. And if you look at the picture down here, you'll notice that it's showing you that 3.5 people are under, or that are keeping control, and the rest are not. Which is showing that, in all retrospect, that a lot of people, even though they know they have AIDS or HIV, they still don't take the proper steps to bettering themselves or keeping themselves healthy, which causes more outbreaks, which causes sickness, which ultimately ends in death. All right. Now, in the article, Human Immune Deficiency Virus Screening in Rural Communities of River State, Nigeria, Challenges of Potential Solutions, written by Charles Tobin West and Victor Oyekiniki, said, in Nigeria, heterosexual transmission of HIV accounts for 80 to 90% of While issues such as lack of information about sexual health and HIV, low levels of condom use, high levels of sexually transmitted infections, better known as STIs, contribute to the spread of diseases. What he's basically saying is that in Nigeria, the reason why AIDS was such a big outbreak there were because people were not taking their medicine correctly. There wasn't a lot of medicine. HTC wasn't really helping, and they had a low level of condom use in the community as a whole, which means that most of the people didn't have the proper I guess medicine and proper knowledge to better help themselves, and it spread by blood, by just anything sexually transmitted, basically. Also, the CDC also states that in 2010, 16% of the people with HIV don't even know they have contracted it. And that's kind of crazy when you think about it, because people live their whole lives without knowing, because HIV can stay dormant in somebody for up to 10 years before it even shows. When looking at HIV, people must first see some of the positives and negatives of getting HIV tested. Some of the pros of getting tested: to reduce anxiety and concerns over one's own health. Basically what this means is when you don't know and you're feeling sick but the doctor doesn't really know, and you go get tested, you know, you're going to be sick, you're going to feel sick in your stomach, not because of the illness itself, but because you're scared that you have it, you're worried that people aren't going to like you, you're worried about all these things. But if you go and get tested, then you'll know more where you stand, and if it comes back negative or if it comes back positive, you'll know where you have to go next. Also, another positive is to provide information for medical treatment. If you wait too long, you may wait too late. If you try to attack it early, maybe you can live somewhat of a healthy life from here on out. Also, to obtain information about AIDS and risk reductions. So basically what that means to me is you look at your risk reductions and you look at cancer, you look at condoms, and you look at birth control or whatever the case may be, and you think in your head, well, you know, if I go ahead and get the information I need, then I will have a better chance of beating this. Although there is positives, there is also negatives of getting tested. One of the negatives of getting tested is psychological trauma. A lot of people, like I said, bother with anxiety. And sometimes some people don't know how to handle anxiety, which turns into depression, which could ultimately make you commit suicide. Also, people they have fear of social isolation. A lot of people are not educated on the topic of HIV and AIDS. And when I say that, I'm saying a lot of people don't sit here, and most people think if I slap hands with my best friend and he has HIV, I'm going to get it too. Or some people think that saliva gives HIV, but that's not true. Pre-cum, cum, and vaginal liquids and blood are some of the things that give off an HIV. Now I want to talk to you guys about, show you some pictures of some negatives. Another negative that I forgot to talk about is loss of jobs, home, or insurance. A lot of people think that they're going to lose their jobs, which means they're going to lose their insurance, which means they're going to lose their life, pretty much, their homes. And that's where eviction comes into. In an eviction, when you look at it, yeah, it is kind of true. A lot of people get scared in the workforce. Well, you can't work here because what if you snip your finger? What if you drink out of a cup and somebody drinks after you? type of thing, and people are afraid that they won't be able to survive to even get the medicine that they need. So that's why most of the times people are quiet and don't really say what's really going on. Then here's stress, work, job. Then you add in HIV on top of that and money. It gets hectic. It gets hard. And you don't want to start a family. And you don't know you have HIV. And then your child contracts it. Then you'll ruin the child's life on top of your life, and possibly your partner's life on top of that. So you have a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression that comes with finding out you have the disease. But on the other hand, there's always solutions to helping people get HIV tested. Testing is one of the major ways to help doctors help you, basically, with medication, with all these different types of services, all these different types of things that we can do to help better ourselves. Then you have I have an article from the Human Immunodeficiency Virus Screening in Rural Communities of River State, Nigeria. Challenges and Potential Solutions, written by Charles Tobin West and Victor Unakwa. That and states that a national strategic framework in line with the global target for ensuring universal access to HCT as a strategy to reducing the HIV and AIDS barrier. Basically, what HTC is basically an organization that is used just to treat AIDS and HIV. What they do is they offer testings, they offer things you can go to. They try to figure out ways to get poor people or poor countries HIV testing so we can stop this disease for once and for all. In conclusion, in the U.S., 1.2 million have HIV and 18% of them are unaware they have the virus. I have informed you on what HIV is and how it affects mankind. And I have given you pros and cons to help you better understand why people fear the test and why people love the test. And I have given what I believe to be great solutions to help stop the virus. And with your help, we can start to clean up our world so that this virus won't be in our children's future. These are two things that we can go to, two different events. The first one is National HIV Testing Day, June 27th. And you can go and get a free test. Then we have World AIDS Day, where it informs you. They have seminars all over the country and all over the world on December 1st. This is my presentation, and thank y'all for listening. If you have any questions, let me know.